Well, welcome to the Mendota Ranch. Today what we're going to be doing, I think we've got a couple mares to breed, and we're going to be collecting not him, but his identical twin brother, which is him. So this is the clone of Sister CD. We call him CD Reloaded. And this also is the clone. This is also the clone of Sister CD, and I call this one Mr. Sister. The difference between the two is he's a stallion and we gilded him. So this is one of my horses that I ride. And it's kind of neat. A lot of people ask a lot of things about clones. Do they look the same? Are they similar? And they are, but there is some difference. So if you look at that stud, when he turns his face around, see how his blaze he has less white here. This one has more white there. But the difference is he's got a sock on that hind leg, and this one doesn't have a sock. So the difference is the pigment is about the same. So pigment is controlled by DNA, but hair follicles aren't. So if you think about pigment, as the fetus is growing, think about your pigment is a gallon of paint. So as the fetus is growing, this paint is being poured, and when they run out, that's where they run out of pigment, and it's white. So they run out here, and it runs out on their feet. And that's where it migrates. So the pigment can migrate as they're growing in the fetus. So like I say, if you look at most dogs, if you look at a dog, their feet are white, that's where they ran out of pigment. Or the end of their tail's white, that's where they ran out of pigment. So, I don't know, it's kind of neat to look at two identical twins. They're clones of we use the clones of the same horse. They're just, the pigment's a little different. Even though they look a lot alike and they act a lot alike, pigment's a little different. But yeah, so I'm gonna get this horse on a walker, and we'll hopefully collect this stud here in a little bit, and I'm gonna hopefully give you the basics on how to process the semen. So if you're thinking about owning a stallion, or if you do own a stallion, we're gonna talk about semen collection today. Stay tuned. Always shit to pick up. Should never start wearing the damn watch. Freaking watch is always right in the damn way. Yeah, I had a cell phone on there, and I paid all that extra money to get the cell. Hell, I don't get sitting right here on that son of a bitch. So here's what we got going on here. We got two mares that we short cycled instead of breeding them on foal heat. So foal heat happens about day 10. These ovulated right at day 10 or before day 10. So what I did was we let them ovulate, and we waited and gave them a shot of Lutalice short cycle. So far she's looking really good. See, this is all the edema. That's the estrogen making the uterus all ready for the semen, right? Going up one horn here, there. So there's a good follicle there. So she's definitely gonna be a breeder, and she's gonna be a good one to tease. This tells me she's got a lot of estrogen in her right now. See all the edema in the folds. So she'll be a good one to use to collect. So I want to show you two different kinds of AVs. and the ones I like and why. Okay? All right, we put her in the box. Wrong way. This is what we call a CSU AV, or Colorado State AV. There's a lot of putting together to them, and they're easier to clean. They're super heavy. Like when you're full of water, when you're trying to hold them out there, they're super heavy. So I don't use these anymore. I haven't used them in years. I use what's called, I guess you still call them a Missouri AV. So it's all in one piece. You can see down in there. There's no liner. We fill them up right here, and then we put our bottle on there. So the downside to these are they're harder to clean. They're slower to fill up with water and stuff like that, but they're way lighter, way lighter. If I was collecting, 4 or 5 stallions a day or every other day, I would probably use something else, but I got 1 stallion, so it works good for me. So typically on stallion collection, what we're going to do is we're going to collect a stallion every other day. So when I breed a mare with the semen is good for at least 48 hours, if not 72 hours. So there's no reason to collect him every day. So we're collecting him every other day, and we're breeding whatever mares we've got set up. So normally my collection days are Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now some people go every other day, but the problem with that is you get into weekends, and when you're shipping semen and stuff like that, it's kind of a mess. But let's get the stallion collected, and then we're going to talk about how we process the semen. So we gotta get the water heated up here. Okay, so we got the collection bottle, and this here is what's called the gel filter. So this filters out the gel. So the very end part of the collection is the gel, and we do not want the gel in our semen. So we screw this on. We want to make sure there's no water or anything in here. It's clean. And it essentially screws on, maybe, like that. And then we cover it with this because we don't want any sunlight or cold or hot. We want to keep the semen in a nice, comfortable state. So this is 40 degrees Celsius, so we're like at 50 here. So you want to stay right under 50. And you don't want to get it really hotter than that. So because you don't want to, of course, you don't want to burn the stallion. So what I'll do, I'll get a glove on and I go in there, and every stallion is different. But I'll go in there and I'll make a fist, because don't want it too tight on the stallion, because when he ejaculates, it's going to flare, and so we don't want it too tight. So I've got a little gel here, a little like KY, and I just go in there. This glove here is going to be on my right hand, because I'm going to be holding the AV with my left hand. I take this off, I get all the air out, and then I'll start adjusting. So I'm just what I'm doing is I overfilled it so that I can let some air and let some get the size the way I like it. So I want to be able to get my arm in there and make a good fist. And so now we're ready to collect the stud. I keep my hand in here for any reason. If I have to leave this, I leave the AV, the glove in the AV like this to protect the AV, because we don't want any contaminants in there if we have to. So now, just so you know, we've already washed the stallion. I'm not going to film me washing the stallion because I'm pretty sure YouTube would not allow it. So on one of my other videos when we're collecting the stud, everybody's like, why don't you just let the stud breed the mare naturally? Well, the reason we don't is there's lots of reasons. Number one, the stallion could hurt the mare, bite the mare, kick the mare, kill the foal. The stallion he's a pretty rough guy. He might bite that foal, kill it, or kick it in the head or whatever. Or even the mare might be trying to protect the foal, and the mare will kick the foal, trying to kick the stallion, and injure her own foal. And these horses are extremely valuable. And also, more importantly, is we got more than one dang mare to breed today. So like I said, we breed every other day. So we might have, like I said, we only have 2 mares to breed today, but we might have 8 mares in one day. So That's why we collect the studs. That's why we don't just let them do it naturally. I don't know why so many people ask that question. I thought it was pretty simple, but it's just too dangerous to do it live. And so being able to AI, your success rate's gonna be a lot better too. And also we're processing the semen, we're keeping a record on it, so if there's ever a problem with a stallion, we always know if there's a problem arising, like, you know, his semen quality's going down for whatever reason. All right, go ahead and bring some. Alright, so we finally got him collected. It took 3 jumps. That's not good, but we'll process the semen. It's going to be part of the fun. Yeah, so motility's 60%. So what I'm saying motility is 60%. Is 60% of the cells are swimming in a straight line. You know, they're not. If they're in a circle or if they're dead, then we're calling them no-goes. So we had 3 jumps and we have 50 cc's of semen, 60%, and we're at 193. So we're at 193 cells per milliliter. And so thinking 190 million cells per milliliter, and there's only 60% of them are alive, right? So we're just under 6 billion. We're you know, close to 6 billion sperm for this whole deal. Before we breed the mare, we need to get her washed up here. Ivory soap's what I use. Don't be dragging shit from the outside to the inside. So start here, work your way out. Going in vaginally, get my index finger stuck in the cervix, then I'll just guide that pipette right in and down. Turn this up, slowly push the semen in. I've got the cervix kind of pinched off around the pipette. Now I'm holding the cervix, and we're done. Well, I hope I didn't confuse you too much on collecting the stallion. You know, I just want to show you the 2 different kind of AVs. I want to show you how to process the semen, how to use the extender to extend the semen, and extend it to the point where you know how many cells there are per milliliter. So for instance, don't forget, so say if you have 500 million sperm per cc and you dilute it, you need to keep track of how much extender you put in there, because if you dilute it, you need to keep up your dilution. So because you're going to dilute it with semen extender. So, all right. Thanks for following me. Give me a thumbs up if I confused the hell out of you. And yeah, we'll be bringing you another one. Thanks. See you.